Hello and welcome to the news desk of Television Nigeria, and I am Charles Ibe with the PM News Update. The Nigerian Senate on Tuesday insisted that only the board of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, as confirmed by it, can defend the 2019-2020 budget of the commission as forwarded to it by the President Muhammadu Buhari. President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, speaking shortly after reading the letter of President Muhammadu Buhari on the 2019-2020 budget estimates of the NDDC, said that the onus was now on the President to do the needful by inaugurating the Dr. Pius Udubu-led NDDC, following the confirmation by the upper chamber in consonance with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The President of the Senate said the executive arm of government will attend to that quickly so that the right people will come forward and defend the appropriation request of the President. The lawmaker reminded the Senate that members of the board of the NDDC were confirmed and yet to resume, warning that the Commission may run into a problem of delayed budget again against the backdrop that nobody will come to defend the budget. A bill to review the provisions of the Criminal Code Act on rape and kidnapping, sponsored by Senator Oluremi Tinubu, passed second reading at the Nigerian Senate on Tuesday. The bill seeks to have the portion of Section 218 and 221 of the Criminal Code deleted to amend the definition of rape as contained in Section 357 and also to increase punishments for kidnapping in Section 364. In her lead debate on the bill, Tinubu pointed out that rape, as defined in the main act, made it a crime committed against women alone, arguing that recent events indicate that there are incidences of non-consensual sex perpetrated against the male gender. She further took a swipe at the definition of rape as contained in the Act, stating that it perpetuates the socio-cultural belief that men do not need to consent to sexual acts, and advocating for the need to ensure that Nigerian laws and jurisprudence evolve with the rest of the world. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, on Tuesday affirmed its readiness for Saturday's supplementary Iran election in Kogi West Senatorial District. The resident electoral commissioner in the state, Professor James Apam, said the commission was ready for Kogi West Senatorial and Ajaokuta Federal Constituency supplementary elections, revealing that sensitive materials will be deployed on Friday, a day before the election. Meanwhile, people of Kogi West have appealed to INEC to improve its level of preparations and conduct in order to avoid a repeat of what happened in the November 16 supplementary rerun election in the area, particularly acts of violence which they described as shameful. Rice Farmers Association of Nigeria, Auto Manufacturers and the Poultry Farmers Association of Nigeria have called on the federal government to sustain the closure of borders, stating that the action would boost local manufacturing. The group made this known during a media briefing shortly after their meeting with the officials of the Central Bank of Nigeria in Abuja on Tuesday. The RIFAN president, Aminu Goronyo, said since the closure of the borders, the demand for their product has increased, adding that many rice producers in the country were working towards increasing their investments in the sector. Goronyo further said that the impact of the border closure had been positive for the sector, adding that the country had over 40 integrated rice mills from the only one it had a few years ago. Chairman of Air Peace, Allen Onyema, has stated that he has no hand in a suit against President Muhammadu Buhari by an activist, John Mary Jidobi, over his indictment in the United States. The Abuja-based lawyer, John Mary, had instituted a suit before a federal high court in Abuja over an alleged move to extradite Onyema, joining the Attorney General of the Federation in the suit as a respondent. He requested for an order of the court restraining any agency of government with prosecutorial powers as represented by the Attorney General of the Federation from attempting to use or seeking to harass, threaten, arrest, or invite Onyema in relation to civil aviation contract he entered with the American authorities through his companies. In a statement on Wednesday, Onyema's lawyers, A.O. Alege and Co., said their client had no hand in the suit, stating that he neither instructed John Mary to institute any action on his behalf in respect of the subject matter of the indictment now pending against him in the United States of America, nor had any prior knowledge of the said action, as he does not know the said John Mary C. Jidofo in person. Allen Onyema and Ejirogene Egaga were indicted on November 19, 2019 on 1 count conspiracy to commit bank fraud, 3 counts of bank fraud, 1 count of conspiracy to commit credit application fraud, and 3 counts of credit application fraud. Angry protesters on Wednesday stormed the National Assembly complex, Abuja, to protest the continuous detention of Revolution Now convener Omoyele Sowore. Sowore, a journalist and human rights activist, along with a colleague, Olawale Bakari, have remained in the custody of the Department of State Services, DSS, despite supposedly meeting bail conditions for their release by a federal high court. The protesters, aside calling on the National Assembly to prevail on the DSS to honor the court order and release Sowore, also said they were protesting to register their rejection of the social media and hate speech bills currently before the Senate and at different stages of consideration. Armed policemen were seen stationed at strategic locations within the National Assembly complex as the protesters chanted and sang protest songs. That's the PM News Update at this time on Television Nigerian. You can join us again by 8 p.m. for the news on the hour. You can also catch up with our lineup of interesting programs on our web TV at tvn.news. Like and follow us on Facebook and Twitter at TVN Nigerian, and subscribe to our YouTube channels at YouTube/Television Nigerian. Many thanks for watching. I am Charles Ibe. Please